Hello and welcome to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin radio show. I am your host, Kaylin John Louis, and I am very excited to be on the air with you all today. Again, I want to thank Doc D and the Hallelujah 95.3 family for giving me the opportunity to encourage people of all ages, especially other youth like me, just for the common cause of inspiration. Just a friendly reminder, as we are still in a pandemic, please practice safety precautions to ensure your and others' safety. And before I go any further, I encourage you right now to download the Hallelujah 95.3 app so you can listen to the show on the go on your electronic devices. Also, make sure you tag a team and have them listen in, because today's discussion is going to be extremely amazing, and I am super excited to just really get into the conversation. Now, if you tuned in last show, you know I talked about all things relationships, all things teenage relationships, how they affect us. We talked about the different types of relationships and how they can impact our future. Well, as we know, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I want to get more in depth and talk about the big relationship that many of us desire, and that is being in a romantic relationship. Now, you're probably used to seeing in movies where two people develop feelings and they go on this wild romantic journey of ups and downs that eventually ends in happily ever after. However, we know things have changed, and that doesn't usually work out the way that we want it to, especially in our generation. So many desire to have situationships over finding a real connection, that the standard of love seems to float around like a caucus of confusion. Everyone is confused about whether or not they like this person, whether or not they want a serious relationship. But I believe there's a deeper issue into what the real root of the problem is, and that is the lack of self-love. So many of us desire to be in a relationship with someone but do not know what we don't even know how to love ourselves. And so it becomes a problem when we're trying to get in these relationships and we're trying to start these as teenagers, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know how to go into it. We don't know how to really establish that love with someone else. So today, my topic of discussion is learning to love yourself before a person. Now, when we talk about learning to love yourself, the first thing you hear is love. So, what is love? Love is feeling deep affection for someone or something. Love has nothing to do with you're expecting to receive. It has everything to do with what you're expecting to give. And when you hear love, you have so many people to tell you, I love you, I appreciate you. Love can mean so many things to so many different people. I mean, if you're talking with your family, you're saying, I love you. That's meaning that you simply acknowledge the fact that they're your family and that you genuinely care about them. Same thing when it comes to friendships. When you're telling your friends that you love them, it's because they're your friends. You value their friendship. You value them in your life. And then those romantic relationships, when you're telling those people that you love them, you truly are meaning it. You truly, with every ounce of you, wish to be that person to love them unconditionally and to continuously care for them. And like I said earlier, it's not about what you're expecting to receive. So many of us always in life, when there's a new situation that approaches us or there's something that comes, it's always, well, what can I get out of it, instead of how can I make the situation better? And so you should go into the relationship that you want to establish knowing that you want to give off that energy. You want to make the other person a better person, and you really want to learn how to be a lovable person to someone else. And if you don't know me, I am a very, very deep into my word, because I believe in Jesus and believe that he gave us the greatest standard of love, because he did die on the cross for us to be able to sacrifice his life so that we can be here right now, being able to show love. But he defines love in the Bible in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. And I just want to read that really quickly, because I believe that it truly right now, with so many of us confused on what love really is and how we can establish that love, this pretty much gives a synopsis of what we should look for and what we should know about love. Now it says, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. It does not strut. It doesn't have a swelled head. It doesn't force itself on others. It isn't always me first. It doesn't fly off the handle. It doesn't keep score of the sins of others. Doesn't revel when others grovel. Takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. Puts up with anything. Trusts God always. Always looks for the best. Never looks back and keeps going to the end. Now, when you break that up, it first says love never gives up and it cares more for others than for yourself. When you're caring for someone and you truly desire to be that person for them, you can't always nitpick what somebody is doing. You can't always say, well, you need to be better at this and constantly nitpick them, because you're accepting someone as they are. You're truly loving them for what they are. And then the most important thing that it says is, it isn't always about me first. It isn't always about trying to be that big person where you have to be the man of the relationship, or you have to do things that make you seem like you're the big bad wolf or anything like that, because love is something that all of us desire. I mean, as a teenager, yes, there are times where you see people in the hallways. I'm sure whether you're at school, you're seeing those high school couples walking around, and sometimes you may say, well, one day I hope to get to this position, but we all know that love comes at different ways, and there's nothing perfect about love. There's nothing perfect about meeting the person. It's not going to happen instantly. It's not going to come as soon as you want it to. But know that when you do experience that, it's all about staying together and dealing with those differences. And that's a problem right now, because if you see on Instagram, you see on all those things, we all look at the quotes, we all look at the things that go on, and they're always saying, oh, if this person, I'm going to stick with this person, even if they're toxic. I'm going to stick with this person just because they give me money, or I'm going to stick with this person because they do this and they do that. And it's not really the love that we should be desiring. And a lot of the times when people are saying they're going to stay with toxic people and they're going to get in these relationships when they know they shouldn't be there, it's because they don't embrace self-love. Self-love is so important, because like I said earlier, you can't love anyone else. You can't even put that energy to like someone else if you can't look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. You can't look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful. I think this and that about myself, because self-love is having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. You have to be able to look at yourself, to reflect on yourself and say, am I happy? Am I going to take care of the things that I need to do? It means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Now, when you hear that, you're saying, well, I thought when you're in love, you have to compromise, and when you like someone, but you should never compromise your morals just to be in a relationship with someone. I mean, if they are doing all this, if they represent the total opposite core values that you don't stand for, and they're doing things that you know that you wouldn't do, but oh, you're just so in like, and you love this person, or you think you love this person, you need to look deeper inside and say, is that right for me? Do I think that I need something like that in my life? And so when you get to loving yourself and doing certain things, when you love yourself and you are able to recognize that I am the person that I want to be, I love who I am, I love what I'm doing. Love for yourself goes in so many categories. You can love yourself physically, where you're saying, oh, I admire my hair, my teeth, my smile is beautiful. I think I'm beautiful. I love the person that I am. And it even goes to character. Do you love the person you're becoming? Do you think that you're hanging around the right people? Do you think that you are letting the right people into your heart? Do you think that you're allowing those people to influence you in the best ways? It goes into all of that, because in order to love yourself, you definitely have to look inside and be able to find that deeper meaning, find that deeper love and that deeper affection to yourself and to the things that you want to do. And I mean, when you love yourself so much and you show people how much you love yourself, it shows them how to love you. Because if you look at yourself in the mirror and you constantly tell yourself that you're beautiful and you're confident, others who may want to approach you in a romantic relationship might say, oh, they're confident, so I like this about them. I think that they're represent themselves in a great way. But if you're constantly nitpicking yourself and you don't love the person you are, you don't love the things you do, you don't love the ambition you have, or you don't love how you react to certain situations, then that's going to show somebody else how to love you. And also, when loving yourself, you have to set boundaries. That means that sometimes you have to tell yourself that person isn't right for me. I'm not going to go near that. If I know that I'm prone to people who constantly start drama and constantly have things that they want to say that are negative, I'm going to try my best to stay away from them and set boundaries for myself, even when it comes to doing things that you don't have any business doing. When it comes to these romantic relationships, you have to set boundaries for yourself, because you could end up doing something that changes your life for the rest of eternity. It could change one decision, one quick move, one wrong move in a relationship can affect your life for the long run. You have to be smart, and you have to know that your time and energy is precious. Not everybody deserves to be in your company. Not everybody deserves to be let into your heart. Not everybody deserves to be able to learn everything about you. So you have to set those boundaries. And the thing about boundaries is you get to choose how you use your heart. You get to choose whether or not you let this person in, or you tell this one person some things, but you know you don't always let them in because they may disappoint you, or they may cause you to do certain things that you know you're not supposed to do. You have to be able to know what is your limit in your own self before you can even start setting limits for a partnership with someone else. And then you also need to know that you need to own love to save your heart. You need to know your own love to save your heart. You need to know, how much do I love myself? Do I need this person right now? Should this person come into my life? You need to be able to have that love even with your family. Sometimes a lot of people get in relationships as teenagers and they make the same mistakes that they've seen adults make around them because they haven't healed from that. I mean, if you're a child who's going through a divorce and you've seen your parents not make it, you may feel like other people may not. So you have trust issues. There's so many issues that teenagers have right now, whether it's trust issues, whether it's abandonment issues, whether it's never knowing whether or not the person is being genuine. So we constantly are questioning, well, should I do this? Should I get in a relationship? Should I not? But the thing that's most important is that you have to love yourself unconditionally, because no one can love you if you don't love yourself. And you can't expect to get in a relationship. You can't expect to be in a place of love and happiness with someone else if your own heart has wounds, if your own heart is going through things and you're not addressing it. I mean, there was a time even in my life where there were constantly different things coming up on my heart, where I had different issues with family, or I had people being mean, or I had different things. And so those wounds were just getting deeper and deeper into my heart. And I didn't address them. I didn't take the time to figure out, well, what really is the root of the problem in my heart and how can I fix it? And then I end up blowing up, or letting all the emotions at one point just flow out because they've boiled up for so long. You can't do that to yourself. If you're having feelings, if someone's mistreating you, if you have different things going on with your family and you just don't understand what's going on, you have to feel your feelings, because they're going to damage your heart. And that self-love for yourself is going to not be as high as it needs to be. And then you might end up trying to get in a relationship. And then because you have all these underlying personal issues, you can't necessarily be a good person for the other partner in your relationship. You have to be smart about the things that you do. And I know you're probably wondering, Kaylin, you don't really know much about it. And yes, I'm a teenager. I'm still growing. I'm still learning about things. But from observing different relationships that have been around me, from my pastors, or from seeing different couples I know that in my life have made it and have gone through it, I know that it is possible. I know that there is a way for people to love someone else. There is a way for you to be able to be that person for someone else, but you can't do it until you take that self-evaluation and be able to know what's going on the inside. And let's get back to Valentine's Day. I mean, everybody's used to, you see people around school. I'm sure a lot of us are going to be at school, and you have, like I said, those high school couples. They may be giving people teddy bears. They may be giving anything to somebody else. But one thing you need to know is there's nothing wrong with not having a Valentine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, God's going to provide whatever needs to be there. If you are not in a relationship right now, there's probably a reason for it. Either you're too busy, either it's not meant for you right now, either God's trying to take you to a higher place and he doesn't need that for you. And is it going to be hard to acknowledge that? Yes. You're always going to be wondering, well, why not me? Everyone else is in this state of happiness, or everybody is in a place where they have that person for them, and I'm just here. You have to trust God and know that when the time is right, then he will bring someone to your life that will be able to be that love for you, be that person for you. And then you may be at the point where you say, hey, Kaylin, I've embraced who I am. I love myself. I love the things that I'm doing. Now what? Well, then if you have the point where you're trying to get in a relationship as a teenager, one, you got to be smart about the person you're letting into your heart, because you can't just let any person have your heart. You can't let any person come inside and know every little detail about you, because you have to get to know people. You also, like I said, let God do the work for you. Let God reveal that person for you. Don't go around looking at horoscopes or looking at all that other stuff saying, oh, this person is my match, or this person should do this. No. The person that's meant for you and the person that's called to be with you will come when they need to come. And then when you get in that place, you have to ask yourself 3 important questions. Is this person healthy for me physically, mentally, and emotionally? Do we have things in common? Do we both live by the same core values? And once you ask yourself those questions and you may decide to get in that relationship, you have to maintain it on those core values and make sure God is the head of your relationship. Now, I'm not getting in depth because, like I said, I'm 16. I don't know much about relationships, but I do know that like I said, before you get in that relationship, it starts with you. Even when I talked about last week with teenage relationships, the people that you let in your life can affect your future, just like a friend can affect your future, a parent can affect your future, a teacher can affect your future, so can someone you're trying to be in a relationship. They may cause you to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. And like I said, you don't want to wind up doing things. You don't want to wind up in a situation you can't change. I mean, you got pregnancy and teenage pregnancy that is on the rise, and you have so many people who don't plan things out. It just happens. But you have to be safe. You have to be careful with what you're doing. You have to make sure that you know that you are the reason. You are the main person who you need to look in the mirror and say, I love. Because if you don't love yourself, again, I say, because it's so important. If you don't love yourself before you get in a relationship, then you have nothing to offer. You have to be able to be that for somebody. You got to be able to love your own self, because when you love yourself, and I'm not just saying in a conceited way, because I know so many people get so involved in themselves to the point where they don't care about anybody. They think they're the center of the attention. They think that, oh, they're the best little thing that happened in the world and everybody has to look up to them and da 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 da. That's not what I mean when I say love yourself. You truly have to love the person you're becoming. And if you know you're doing things wrong, I mean, we all make mistakes. We're all human. We all do things sometimes that we realize, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to the party with these people. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten in the car with these people. Maybe I shouldn't have talked to these people. Maybe I should not have let these people into my heart. But you do have to know that when you make that mistake, because you will, we're teenagers, we're human, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to end up connecting sometimes with the wrong people. And the most important thing to do with that is to learn from it. Because if you see where you messed up and you see what person you messed up with, and then you constantly keep going back to people that are just like that, you're not making a change. You got to be healthy about the people you let into your heart. You have to be able to recognize that, one, You deserve to be happy mentally, physically, and emotionally, but you can't do that if you don't love yourself. You can't do that if you don't love God. You can't do that if you don't have that relationship and that care for yourself. You have to make sure that you guard your heart because you only get one. Just like they say, you only get one life. You only get one chance to make life worth your while. You only get one heart, and you don't want to keep having negative things that you could have avoided poke at your heart and continuously do it, because then you might fall into a place where it's not okay. You might fall into the place where you don't know what's going on and you want to have a relationship so bad that you just keep connecting with the wrong people. But another thing that comes to learning to love yourself before a person is patience. Patience is so important. That's not just for relationships, that's just for life. A lot of times we get impatient and we want things to happen right away. We want that person to show up and say, hey, let's do this. Or we want that person that we may like right now to like us back. We may want to be with someone, but we can't. You have to be patient. You have to let everything work on God's timing. You have to allow Him to be the foundation of what you want, Him to be the precedent of what you want love to look like for you. God is the precedent. He shows us in so many different things in the Bible about what love is, about how you should approach different things. And even if you're confused, it's okay to talk to your parents. It's okay to, even if you're not comfortable with your parents when it comes to the topic of finding people, of wanting to date someone or anything like that, find a mentor. Talk to a therapist. Talk to your sibling. Talk to someone who you trust. Because when you trust someone and you put that foundation of trust between them, you know that they're not going to rat you out. They're going to try and help build you to a better person. And sometimes what they say may not make sense, but you have to believe that what they're telling you is meant for you. It's going to help you. It's not going to hinder you. And you just have to keep going. And to wrap up everything, like I said, the most important thing is learn to love yourself. It may be Valentine's Day, and you may, or it may be the week where you see people coming up. You might be on Instagram. Someone, that special someone will come for you one day. 2, don't chase after things that are going to hinder you, things that are going to put you back. Don't chase after people who are lower than your standards. Don't lower your standards for anyone. Number 3, know that if you are trying to get in a relationship, that you need to maintain that on the basis of what God says, and you need to make sure that, most importantly, before you get in a relationship, that you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, no one else can genuinely love you and genuinely be that person for you. So that is everything I wanted to say. I hope everything made sense. I hope that you got something from it. And I mean, like I said, as teenagers, we learn by making mistakes. We learn by going through certain situations. So just be smart. Be smart about the things you do. Be smart about the people you connect with. Because as I stated last week, relationships make or break your future. Now, if you were here last week, you know that towards the end of my show, I do want to go into my new segment called the New Teen Times, woo, 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 where I'm going to be highlighting some motivational teenagers in our world who are simply doing some amazing things. They're here trying to make the world a better place simply because they care and they want to see others do well. And you all know that there are different teenagers and youth in our community, whether you've seen them on Instagram, but I have 2 special young men, especially because of Black History Month, because as we're celebrating the essence of Black excellence and we're being able to celebrate the different things that we've gone through and the amazing time this is just for us to celebrate our culture and our history, we have 2 amazing African American males in our community who are trying to educate others about important figures in their community just because they care. And they're doing some very creative things. the one little guy, he is 7 years old, y'all. Only 7 years old. His name is Ethan Chapman, and he has a 10-year-old brother, Edward Chapman III. And these brothers have decided to write and illustrate a children's book, and they called it The Important People in My Community. It's a book to be able to teach others in their community about some trailblazers and inspirational people. And the cool thing is, the 10-year-old, his brother, was able to draw everything by hand because he loves drawing and he loves doing certain things. And so he illustrated all the pictures in this book, and his brother wrote it. And so, y'all, they are 7 and 10. Can we give them a congratulations? Woo, woo, woo! Like, they're doing some things that people right now who are in their adult age are maybe too scared to do, but they've released their book. Again, it's called The Important People in My Community, and it's available on Amazon. I really want to congratulate them because as a teenager, as a 16-year-old, I have always thought that being so much. And y'all, if y'all want to purchase their book, you can go to Amazon and type in the title. It is, again, for the third time, The Important People in My Community. Please go check it out. Please give them some love. Go ahead and make sure you check them out because they've worked so hard to get this book out and to really be able to demonstrate some amazing people in their community. I also want to shout out a quick event coming up since it is talking about love and we are in Valentine's Day mode. There is an upcoming event for local teenagers to attend. It is through Cultivating Queens Corporation, and they're presenting the Love Below, a teenage dating seminar on Friday, February 18th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. at 3840 North Monroe Street, Suite 301. It will include an open forum discussion, keynote speakers, giveaways, and light refreshments. You can reserve your spot to go by visiting their website at cultivatingqueenstally.org. By going there, I think it's going to be an amazing event that they're having. And I always like to shout out Cultivating Queens because they are an amazing organization trying to really build up some amazing young African American girls in the community. And so go ahead and check them out, not even just for this event. Go ahead and check out their page, check out their website. But this event that they have coming up, they're going to have some amazing mentors just speaking about different things that has to do with teen dating, because a lot of people, like I mentioned in the show, are confused about it, want to know more information. So if you're looking to meet new people, to be able to learn new things, go ahead and join them at their event. And I just look forward to the great things that are to come from it. I believe they're going to do well. And yeah, I want y'all to check them out. But before I leave, I do want to ask you to connect with me on all of my social media platforms, which are YouTube. You can subscribe to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin YouTube channel and turn on your post notifications. You also can follow me on Instagram at Kaylin Cares 15 to be able to catch up with some of the upcoming radio shows, anything's going on with the podcast, anything that has to do with Kaylin's Caring Connection, because that is my amazing organization that I did start to be able to help people in the community. You also can follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Kaylin's Caring Connection. And then last but not least, to learn all things about Kaylin's Caring Connection and check out some upcoming things we have in the community, go ahead and visit the website, which is www.kaylinscaringconnection.com. Now, Kaylin is spelled Kaylin. So make sure you check that out. And I just thank you all so much for tuning in today. I look forward to many, many more conversations and inspirational moments to come. Always know that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, and if no one else has told you. I want you to know that I love you. Make sure you connect with Kay and go ahead and check out everything I have coming up. But until next time, please catch me for another episode of the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin radio show. I love you.